this party started. Once I do that, you'll all be tagged in it, so just like share it, I guess. Great, it's up. Okay. Online web at Guy Branum, J. Jurden. All right, great. That's all out. You guys share that on your socials while I do a quick intro. Great. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi, Heather. Hi. Hi. Welcome to the Tea Party. How are you uglies doing today? I am your host, obviously, Philip Henry. This week we are back. What a fucking tiring week it's been. It feels like it's been about 3 months since I have last known joy. But we are having a great show this week. We're going to talk about all of the issues, everything from Taylor Swift saying Black Lives Matter to J.K. Rowling being as insufferable as possible. I've got some really great comics for you guys this evening, who I love very, very much. So to get things started, I'm going to bring them in. His album, J. Jurden, y'all, is recently released. You can find that online. Please follow it on all streaming platforms. Everyone, please give it up for J. Jurden. Hi.
Hello. I put on a little handkerchief to hide my Adam's apple because I'm femme.
Yes. She's a queen. No mask, honey. We're a no mask house through and through. Next up,
I'm like Mississippi right now.
Performing all over the city. I am doing their show next week. Glow in the City. It is going to be live next weekend. Please give it up for the incredible Glow Butler. Hi, Glow.
Hey, what's going on? I can't get good light in my room. I don't have good light. I have terrible light, and it's dark, and I've been outside all day, so excuse the blob right here in front of the screen.
Fine. The idea is all we need, right? Like the idea of it is very representative of 2020 at the very least. And last but certainly not least, our special, very special guest this evening. He is one of my favorite comedians of all time. He's done so much fucking great work. I really, really admire them. Please give it up for the incredible Guy Branum.
Hello.
Hi, Guy. Hello.
You guys can bet that my first quarantine purchase was the bougiest ring light I could find.
Yes, of course. I mean, I have like barn door lights, like newer ones, like a fucking psycho.
This is a new America. We have to live in it.
Exactly. And I'm going to be I'm vain first. I'm nothing if I'm not going to be vain first. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. How's everyone been? Surviving quarantine, I assume. We're alive. Happy.
Okay, this week, Philip, I'm gonna answer that question honestly. It has been I've had to help so many white people's feelings over the past 7 days. It's been a lot of "Are you all right?" text, and I have to say, "Are you all right?"
Hello, a lot of that. I get so many. It's like, "How are you holding up?" But I'm like, you're not asking for me. What you're asking, I feel like it's a check.
Yeah,
it's a check-in on white friends who are like, have I ever been racist to you? Is really what they want to ask, so they don't know how to do it. So they're like, I hope you're doing well. I see you. And I'm like, I don't forget that you still owe me for that cab, bitch. Okay? That's anti-black. Okay? That really has been what it's been. My phone is blowing up with well-meaning white people who I love dearly, but y'all could. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm alive. Okay. Barely, but I'm there. But we're going to jump right in. We have a lot of stuff to go through this week. It has been the longest 6 years on Twitter in the past 24 hours. So please prepare as we go through every single topic here for you guys. President Trump has been doing some fanfic recently on the internet by sharing conspiracy theories that a 75-year-old man who was pushed over by the Buffalo Police Department last week was an Antifa agitator, as he called it, and like planted there by Antifa to like rile up the cops. This is hilarious to me. The idea that like Trump believes he's so racist, he thinks that like a 75-year-old white man would be the face of this resistance, right? We're supposed to put like someone, I'm like, aren't agitators supposed to like blend in with the crowd? And I don't think there's anything like more suspicious than a 75-year-old white dude at a Black Lives Matter protest, personally. They're just not inconspicuous. I'm like, you're going to notice that. Like an old white dude kind of draws focus at those kinds of things. And like, they're not just, most of them aren't out here marching in the streets. They're in Congress making our laws, okay? So I don't really get it.
If Antifa wants to have like scary shock troops, they're gonna need to get people with sturdier skulls. Yeah. Like that poor little old man just tipped over and then like what's coming out of his ear?
Yeah, he took over. He took over like the Tim Winsman in The Wizard of Oz. What I'm saying is that he also is 75, so he was at civil rights marches probably.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, this guy. I'm like, we didn't really choose some dude who is probably didn't go to school with black people. But like, you're not really going to lead this resistance right now. Glow.
Wait, didn't Trump say that like, and the police officer didn't push him that hard, like he fell on his own that way? Like he's 75 years old, right?
Yeah,
isn't that what Trump said in a tweet?
Well, he said something. Yeah, he said something to the effect that like it wasn't that big of a deal. Like he wasn't hit, and it was being dramatic. And I'm like, no. I'm like, if you like sneeze too hard around someone who's 75, they might fall. Like
right.
Also,
exactly.
Buffalo and Niagara County is so white that they were like, we got to beat up somebody. Like, and the only reason it was him is because the Bills haven't started training camp yet. So it was just they're like, we don't know who.
Well, like the way that Trump is obsessively defining anything opposed to him as Antifa is hilarious, because what clearer way of saying you're a fascist than saying anti-fascist people are against you?
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what, like everything is Antifa now.
Yeah.
Which I'm starting to feel left out at this point. I'm like, where's my Antifa tweet?
Well, yeah, I don't. Because what is Antifa? You have to have a certain amount of credits. Is it like a SAG under 5? Like, what's the rule?
I was just wondering. I was like, if it's not equity, I don't know if I want this role at this point. I'm just getting too old for local theater. Okay, like, we're not doing Buffalo regional theater anymore. Okay, I'm gonna crisis act my way into an equity contract.
Speaking of which, you know who feels really bad right now? Those like flyover states that would have those all-white productions of The King and I, where now we have a bunch of 30-year-olds that definitely did yellowface when they were teenagers. Those are the people I'm worried about.
Really
I know too many white girls that were like, run to Uncle Tom. I was like, okay, well, this is gonna be bad.
Well, it is coming back to beat everyone up. And no, it starts like at the top, and then even like local politicians are getting caught in the fray. Jacob Frey, Minneapolis mayor, attended a protest last weekend where he was asked by one of the protest leaders if he supported defunding and like the abolishment of the police force, to which he said no and was promptly booed from the entire ordeal. He had to walk out. There was like video of him, video footage of him being walking out this walk of shame like Cersei Lannister. It was so bad for him, which is crazy. I just don't understand how, as like, he's such a terrible politician. Like the number one thing you do as a politician is lie, and if you can't really get that right,
exactly.
then like, what are you doing? Like, just say, nah, I don't really, like, I do support it, and then don't do it. That's what we're used to politicians doing anyway. I don't understand it. They're also protesting you, so maybe like don't show up. Like, you are kind of like part of the problem as mayor, so like I don't really de Blasio on the fucking streets. I don't understand why he was there. Like, what mayor shows up to a protest when we're protesting your government?
The mistake came the day before when he attempted to do the Cupid shuffle with people who were demonstrating. Like, it was just a clear evidence of your like, maybe let other people say their truth and just listen to them.
Okay, so as an expert on cuffed jeans twinks, I think that what he wanted to say was, I'm going to do this after you guys pay for these drinks, but he just didn't say it fast enough. Like, he's a tiny, slight built man. If you were just like, you're going to defund the police, he'd be like, yeah, I guess. I'm yes.
Absolutely. He could.
Don't ask him.
Jacob Frey seems very easily bullied, right?
How do you go from being the mayor who was chill with burning down a police department to fumbling this on the left? Like, he was the guy who was like, no, people are full of rage. Let them burn down that police department, and then manages to do this. It's not great politics.
It's really not. He's pretty bad at it. I don't foresee a re-election.
Yeah, he did everything.
Go ahead, Glo. Sorry.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Like, he definitely pulled like some type of what Kanye did to like black people. You know what I mean? Like, he was just like, you know, everybody's thinking, yeah, you're gonna be all for us, and then he just like, hell no. And he walked through everybody talking shit and booing him and shit like that. That's like some ballsy move. I feel like that's a Kanye move. I'm sorry, because he did that to us. You know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
He's grifted that entire community, and I'm like, listen, maybe Jacob Frey to me also doesn't sound like a politician's name to me. It gives me more like burgeoning CW actor, right? Like, that is kind of maybe where he belongs, like on a Seventh Heaven reboot.
Sorry, just who else was dazzled to discover that Minneapolis had 2 trans people of color on their city council? Like, that's
I was gagged.
Well, Minneapolis, like the mayor of St. Paul is black, and then like over the past 5 weeks, I've had to like take back a lot of don't you know jokes I had about Minnesota. I was like, it's not all Bobby World. It is like, y'all out here in these streets, okay, Minnesota.
I've actually had to very much also reassess my relationship or lack thereof with Minnesota. I'm like, okay, well, I thought it was just like racist with snow. And little did I know, I'm like, they're like burning shit the fuck down.
It's not just Amy Klobuchar eating salad with combs. They're black people.
Or beating up on her PAs. Which, honestly, I gotta stand her. I need someone that vigilant. But maybe like more, if she had that kind of passion for like maybe arresting murderers of black people, she might make a decent politician.
When she told Buttigieg, I would never denigrate a local official, it was the finest read of last year. Like, it was perfection.
It was.
It makes up for the fact that she told the snowstorm joke 365,000 times.
Well, I mean, it was her version of there can be 100 people in a room gaga moment. She was like, this is a thing, and we'll just keep going with it until people find it actually funny. That said, keep burning shit down, in my opinion. Please continue to protest. donate to Color of Change, donate to Bail Fund, support. What are you doing, Black
Phillip
trans?
said burn shit. Phillip said burn shit down. When I got don't. We're not saying burn shit down. We're saying we're not gonna stop you. That's what we're saying.
Okay, fine. I'm saying burn. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna get in trouble for this. I'm not trying to be mayor. So if Jacob Frey can, I might as fucking well. Speaking of white people, more white people failing us, the dissolution of Stassi, Schroeder, and Kristen. Okay, so if you don't watch Vanderpump Rules, which I stopped in season, like 2 seasons ago, which makes me feel like I was ahead of the curve. Recently, 2 of its stars, Stassi Schroeder and Kristen Delp, were fired because it turned out that they made a phone call claiming that one of their castmates, Faith Stowers, was in a cop. They called the police on her and said that she was committing a crime. It was all fake. They didn't know that it was her, and it all just resurfaced. They went around and admitted to it, and turns out they don't have jobs anymore. So at least the thing is with Stassi and Kristen though is that they never worked at the restaurant. They haven't for the past couple of years, but I guess now they're available to pick up shifts. So everyone should be excited about that. I love to see this. They were like Amy Cooper predecessors, okay? They walked so that she could run. And now they're unemployed.
Well, I mean, technically now they're off leash, just like her dog. I want to hear, as the only LA person here, Guy, are there protests at Sir and at Pump right now?
Okay, I love Sir and Pump. I think it is essentially a character breakfast for Midwestern moms visiting Los Angeles. They can all of their favorite characters. I think it's beautiful. It's very hard that we need trash people on trash shows to be trash, but with boundaries. Yeah. And I feel like finding the person who can talk to them in a way that will make sense to them, that's please be horrible in ways that aren't rooted in 400 years of American history. Find original ways.
And there are so many other ways. There's no shortage of ways to be a terrible person while not being racist. You can still do it. It's possible.
What I appreciate about this though it created.
They should take some
weird.
Hold on, Glow. Go ahead.
Oh no! What I was about to say is, what is that show that Ray J is on, the reality show?
Love and Hip Hop.
What is that? Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. They can take some notes from there, because those girls, they do just enough to pull some hair. We always know they're just gonna go just enough to throw something or pull some hair, and then you back off. You don't go all the way, but white girls don't really know that much that yet. We gotta teach them.
And more importantly, if you're gonna do it, do your racism on camera. At least.
Exactly.
Get some press out of it. Get it filmed.
And then you can have the racism episode, because every season has a teaser where you're oh, what episode is this? So for Faith to talk about it, because it came out when Faith was talking to another Black reality TV star. So it made me be oh, is there a way that we can get a bunch of Black reality TV show stars from predominantly white casts to have a house where they just have a good time? They have a wait to exhale moment, and they're do you remember that time? Coral's do you remember the time I had to teach Mike what racism was?
Or just to have a Real Housewives sit down with all of the 1 to 2 Black characters from white reality sitcoms, which leads me to the question, who is the Black Andy Cohen?
Ooh, John Sally, but he's not gay.
Yeah, I'm I don't know. I don't think we have one.
John Sally did my talk show. That man is good at talk shows.
Yeah, John Sally, he was one of the first Black people that would be he would sit in the middle of the mess, and the audience would be like, are you as invested as everyone? And he'd be like, yeah, but I'm gonna let them speak their piece. I mean, because like Black reality TV shows, they have reunion specials too. I want to see like wacky races for reality TV shows.
Yes. I need to see, I also just want to see like a lot of crossover between Bravo shows at this point. I'm like, you have such a I'm like, listen, I need more than like this little bit of tease where you put like Lisa Vanderpump in with Jiggy for like 5 seconds. I'm like, please send Nene. I want to see Nene eat lunch with Jax at this point. Like we're fully at the point where I need to see more crossover. Like just like give all the spinoffs that you thought you were gonna do, just do them. I don't want to watch Stassi get married. I want to watch Nene and Jax go on a road trip, like The Simple Life together. Okay.
Wait a second, Phillip, we saw Nene with like people who are obsessed with themselves. That was that Ryan Murphy show, The New Normal, didn't we?
Oh yes, that was not gone too soon.
But let us never forget, Nene gets acting work. Nene's done Broadway.
Nene
Chicago.
Nene has an equity card. Okay, Nene is a Broadway actress. That is so terrible. I hate that actually.
Yeah, that's right. Nene hummed so Candy could belt on Broadway as Mama Morton.
I think she was there first. That's that's the saddest part, is that she was there first. This topic. So in the UK, a Miss Hitler pageant was arrested recently with her boyfriend. And yes, she has a boyfriend. They were arrested recently, but for being part of a hate terrorist group called the National Art something. I don't know, whatever races call their groups these days. Just being white, I suppose. And they have been arrested. They're going to be serving 3.5 to 5 years in jail, respectively. Which is quite a moment. I just don't know how, like, only the contestant. I'm like, there's a Miss Hitler pageant, like a whole pageant, and every one of those people is not buried under a jail. Also, he's dead. You guys lost. Like, get over. I just couldn't imagine like a Miss Robert E. Lee pageant at this point. Unless, like, at the end of it, you burn up, like, in flames on stage, like the rest of the Confederacy.
No.
Hold on, Phillip. I'm going to push back. I went to the University of Mississippi and Alabama, so I have seen a Miss Robert E. Lee pageant. It's called Spring Audition for the Theater Musicals. And what's fun about this Miss Hitler contestant is that she didn't win. Like, what? Girl, lie.
There were more qualified Miss Hitlers, apparently. I want to know what the judging. I want to know what the judging categories are for that.
Well, what was her talent, and where did she get the Jews to do it with?
I don't want to see a Wednesday matinee Miss Hitler.
That's true. I don't want to see understudy Miss Hitler. Like, if you're gonna win, you must win. Okay.
As a white American, I must say, every time I go to Europe, the racism there tastes like, it just tastes so different that you're like, oh my God, this is spicy. What are you doing? That's who Santa's friend is? And then it's
oh my goodness.
So nice to come back to the United States, to the racism I know and am able to ignore.
Exactly.
Okay, I do
joke, but all true.
I like this. You guys, I also saw that the other day with this lady. There was like a video of another Amy Cooper lady calling like the cops on this black lady outside of her building. And she had a very strong like Russian accent. I think her name was, I don't know what it was, but it was a very strong accent. And I couldn't help but wonder, I was like, why can't you just leave like racism to us? Like, we did it so well. Like, when you come here, like, let the Americans handle it. They got it.
Shouldn't you be busy hating Jews and Ukrainians or something like that?
I'm like, you have a whole sect of racism that's just your own. But like, let's leave hating black people to the people who do it best. Okay?
Yeah. ethnic cleansing existed all the way into like the early 2000s in Bulgaria and Czechoslovakia. Do you like that? I can't tell the difference when I watch those porns. So I don't know how I'm supposed to care about your fake boundaries. Guy, the fact that you brought up my audition for Zwarte Piet really makes me happy. Because it's a seasonal role. It's not there all the time.
It is. All right. Moving on. Taylor Swift. Recently, she started a couple of weeks ago. Y'all know Swifties out there who love me. We won. Okay. She in a tweet talked about Black Lives Matter, donated to like NAACP, encouraged voting, all of the things that we want our white allies to do, and then like go away. I love that she like, I don't know what made her like, before she's been kind of like cagey around it, and I don't know what made her specifically say Black Lives Matter, but I guess like it just shows that everyone is feeling the pressure from Mitt Romney. And that's really it. They were like, Mitt Romney said it, I gotta say it now. Like, if he said it, who else?
He really is a thought leader amongst basic white people. He really is like at the forefront.
He is. He's like he's the foremost moderate Republican that there is. He is. It's so very strange. We'll see how he votes on things. Go ahead, Chloe.
I'm tired of Taylor Swift, honestly. Like, if she does one more thing, and I know she's supporting Black Lives Matter, but I know she's supporting, but it's like the kind of like, yeah, we need your help, but we don't really want it, but I know we're going to take your money, but we don't want, Taylor Swift just keep doing something to try to make Black people happy, and we're cool, her music's cool, but I'm tired of her. I'm tired of seeing her face because she likes so many Black people. It's like shoving it in our face,
Well, that's what, I really don't agree. I feel like she doesn't I feel like she does it exactly like enough to where like I can't call her out for not doing it, which is exactly what I want. Because the last thing I need is like a 6'4" like blonde white lady at the face of Black Lives Matter. So I'm just like, give us your money, open your purse, and please go away.
I like that she's doing a good thing. I wish she would just take all of her energy and focus on being a lesbian. Because she keeps being almost being a lesbian, and I want to get to the end of the video and be like, she's a lesbian now.
Wait a second. Are you okay? So a young girl who is dealing with her burgeoning lesbian and sapphic desires is starting to really appreciate Black artistry and beautiful Black women. Wait, that's just the plot of Little Fires Everywhere. That is. Taylor Swift is her youngest daughter in Little Fires Everywhere.
Look, if this all ends at Long Beach Pride with her and Dana locking eyes, then I'm fine with everything.
No, when Janelle Monáe and Taylor Swift kiss, that's intersectionality.
That is the peak of it. It will.
Also,
the timeline will
the power of Janelle Monáe. Janelle Monáe had everyone being like, I'll eat pussy. Like, why it's not a big deal.
I love Janelle Monáe, icon. Oh, please go stream her music. Taylor Swift, God bless her. We'll move on. I don't need to give her too much more. Actors, the crisis within the crisis. I don't know. It would be hard to miss this egregious act of racial violence, as far as I'm concerned. Watching a 2.5-minute reel. Everyone from Sarah Paulson to Kristen Bell to Julianne Moore take responsibility in their actors' reel for racism, and to decide that they are going to take responsibility for. And I'm like, well, you already took all the money, so you might as well. I'm like, you've taken all the roles and all the money, and now you've decided to recognize Black people. I hate it here. It is maybe arguably
these freaking feminists out here. These feminists. It's like they have their own cult. Because I'm not a feminist, but it's like they have their own cult and they do whatever they can to just get in the middle of it. They're like, when a white woman complains and when they're sad, that's when people start caring. So that's why they did that video. They did it for them, you know.
Oh, of course.
But also, Kesha was in the video. And Kesha's in the video at one point with dark hair, and she says, I need to take responsibility. But what was left on the cutting room floor is that the full line is, I need to take responsibility. Because I'll wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy, and P. Diddy is treated very differently by this country's legal system.
Yeah.
I loved it as like that they were giving full actor in it too. I was like, this is a role at this point. I just want to see a cut of it with like Valerie Cherish in it, right? Like that's what I want. I need the Lisa Kudrow cut of this video.
Deborah Messing needs someone in her life to say not now. Like needs someone in her life that 10% of the time is just like, hey, no, Deborah.
No.
God, you understand Eric McCormack had to do that for 30 years. He don't need
She had an entire cast. They rebooted it. We've been telling Deborah no for so long.
And I heard that she was not okay. So Phillip and I know someone who was in Smash, and they said Deborah Messing is not the curly-haired ally that we think she is. It's black people all the time.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard some not great things about her. But I mean, I don't have to hear not great things about her. She shows me not great things. So like, I don't even need gossip. I just have to go to her Twitter page. Oh, she is a mess. Go ahead, guys.
You know, the next 24 hours, in the next 24 hours, somebody's gonna come up with a rap song. There's gonna be a rap beat behind. I take responsibility. You know, like every time, like there's like some type of video that goes like viral. There's a song. Somebody comes in and they put like their little guitar in there. I'm just ready for that tomorrow. I guarantee you, there's gonna be a song over. Like that's gonna be a song now instead of that video going around.
It'll be Justin Bieber.
Look. White people are really trying to absolve ourselves of guilt right now. And I deeply love that every time anyone does something stupid, they do end up responding to it by just throwing money in whatever direction they can. And I'm crossing my fingers that those girls at the Okra Project get a jet. Like, wait for them.
What? If you're telling me that by the end of this, we're going to have a fully trans airline, we're going to have like a transatlantic flight that's actually transatlantic, I'm very excited for that concept.
And it honestly might be worth it at that point. I'm like, it'll all be worth it. I'll take it.
Listen, and I can say this, I don't expect the plane to leave on time though, because gay time plus black time equals a drag show, and those things start next day.
Whenever they do. This show never starts on time, and I don't even have to leave my house for it. So there's that. Oh my gosh, Club Ariba, Club Hell's Kitchen. It has everything but mask. If you didn't see, on 51st and 9th over the past weekend, gays of Hell's Kitchen, which is the most aptly named neighborhood in all of New York City, have decided that coronavirus is over and they are bored with it. So they had like a little house party on the corner of 51st and 9th, which is, you know, Club No Mask. You know, it's okay. They're on PrEP though, right?
Go ahead, guy.
Didn't we learn how to manage a plague the first time?
No, we needed a reboot, babe.
The thing, what is funny is I am older than you children, and so I remember rougher times before we had PrEP and Descovy all over the place. And I do feel a little silly about how the risks I was willing to take in 1999 and how what a paranoid old Jewish lady I am about being in the same room with a stranger for the 20 minutes it takes to get some business done.
Well, okay, so Phillip gave the cross streets, which is pretty important because it was just this sea of like chances that were taking chances. And there was one black gay man on a bike that was like, could you please not take this picture right now, y'all? Like that's what's in his face. You can definitely see him. I'm about to leave. Just wait. they were like just on the street when like a few protests were going on, but they just like had to drink, I guess. I mean,
listen, the way I see it is they saw like people were like, black people are willing to risk their lives to go and fight for their right to live. And gay people saw that and were like, I'm willing to risk my life for vodka sodas. And that is about as millennial gay as it gets, though.
Yeah.
It is the simple truth that you can get gay men to give up a lot, but faggots will not give up being chatty. Like, why we're in the business.
I mean, it's Pride. You personally can't tell gay people that Pride is canceled. The month of Pride, like there's no such thing. We'll always find another reason to get the fuck. This is the month of being a thought, the most thoughtiest thought that you possibly can thought. Okay, so you're not going to stop the gays from doing that, regardless. So if they got to be on some street corner, you know.
But the CDC like said that if you want to have casual gay sex, maybe you should put up a barrier of some sort. And every video store in Chelsea was like, "We got it covered, you guys."
I love
Like,
it. Gays were like, we will not have a gossip-free 2020. They would rather have like a COVID. They won't have a COVID-free 2020 though. They're like, absolutely not. You can have one or the other. It's going to be COVID-free, but it will not be gossip. Speaking of anti-homophobia, transphobia, J.K. Rowling and the Chamber of Turfs. J.K. Rowling got on Twitter and wrote an essay and a few tweets basically saying that trans women are not women. And then she went home, thought about it, and then wrote a longer essay saying the same exact thing, just in case we didn't hear her the first time. I'm honestly not surprised. We've been constantly disappointed by J.K. Rowling time and time again. She made the most beloved protagonists of like sci-fi history and like fantasy history a cop at the end. So I didn't expect anything better from her. I just love knowing that like everyone who worked with her probably hates her right now, and that makes me feel good, you know?
Yeah, the one thing that I find odd is that she, she makes she writes books for like fantasy and like all this other stuff, and then you have something to say about the trans community and how a trans woman, whether they can have like a menstrual cycle or not, whether that determines if they're a female or not. I think that's a little bit off. It's kind of contradicting yourself in a way. For me, I think for her, it's a little bit weird. But yeah, I never even read Harry Potter, so there.
Well, it is just very strange because she's like, I'm like, the stuff you put into the world, like everything is so like fantastical to her, except the idea of gender identity, right? And like,
you telling me the bitch who invented polyjuice potion? You're supposed to stay how you are all the time. First of all,
literally looking for. I was like, what is the thing in that?
Secondly, this is the thing that makes me go, are you kidding me? Every star was like, nah, that ain't it. Like Daniel Radcliffe was like, that ain't it. Emma Watson was like, that ain't it. Like, don't say, like, please don't put us in.
Please.
I just feel like British feminists, something like they all drank something, like they are very on this thing. And this whole idea of, oh God, I might have to share a bathroom with a trans woman. You're the richest woman in Scotland. Buy a new bathroom. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You can follow some. She can pay someone to follow her around to collect her shit. Like, yeah. I really like. How many public bathrooms does J.K. Rowling use?
The fucking Scottish flag has a unicorn on it, and she doesn't think trans people are real. Like, do you like the two most important animals there are mythical?
Well, also, there's nothing more magical than trans people. Like, people identified as women at birth who are sexually attracted to women, like, go on testosterone and then become gay dudes. That is the realest magic we're gonna see in our lives.
Yes.
And Guy, I want to ask your thing about this, because a few years ago, one of my Jewish friends was like, you do understand that I've had a problem with her since the Goblins in the Bank. And I was like, oh, wait a second. And they were like, do you understand what she did to Jewish iconography?
I mean, look, just about any fantasy or sci-fi series is going to have creepy Jews. It makes us feel represented, whether Ferengi or goblins. But like the whole, oh, Dumbledore is gay, like 6 months after the books were done.
Yeah.
Naming the only Asian character Cho Chang. Like it's rough.
Well, because she was like, oh, English. She was like, the UK gets like 4 different like wizarding schools. Like there are wizarding schools in France, there are wizarding schools in Russia, and we're like in Africa. She's like, I think there's one. We're like the second largest continent gets one wizarding school.
One school. Absolutely.
And there's no difference between sub-Saharan African and North African, like when it comes to mysticism and magic. Okay.
No, I mean
it was a pretty big school.
It was a really big
Wait a second. Are you telling me the Black Wizarding School is also underfunded? Okay, well this is...
No.
Yeah.
I did always want a fantasy series about like a public wizarding school, like a wizarding school in like Brooklyn that is just like barely holding it together.
Yes. Like the best thing they teach you is how to like open a can of soup with a wand. You're like, okay, cool. Any real magic today?
Guy wants to read about Paranormal Polytech, where they show you how to make your bill this month.
I also think that it's really funny. I'm like, if wizarding school was anything like actual school, they'd absolutely lose none of what they learned in it later. So it wouldn't matter. I'm like, all they're going to do with all this information you give them is learn how to give each other orgasms. Like, that's it. That's all they care about. No one's trying to fix watches.
This is devil's advocate because she literally is the devil. I will say that she did do the accurate depiction of gay men lusting after a straight man that's a Nazi. Because that's...
I mean, the gays love that. I mean, white gays love that Nazi undercut more than they love racism. So,
yeah, I was like, she was like, the crimes of Grindelwald. And I was like, yeah, but you don't have to put up that many Tom of Finland posters. Like, I get it. But like...
I get it. It's true. She carried that racism on into Fantastic Beasts. She was like, I'm going to give you a slave, an Asian snake slave, too.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She's pretty good. She's pretty heavy-handed. She doesn't leave anything in mystery.
Winnie's racism.
RuPaul's Drag Race. Season 5 of All Stars is here. Jada Essence Hall has won Drag Race from the comfort of her living room through season 12. What an icon. I watched the last episode live, obviously. Derek Barry's gone. They had such good drama with like Derek and India, and then we've cut it all short already. For what? And I'm like, all I want to see is more of this. This was going to be like Alyssa Coco 2.0, and I don't know how they're going to make it any better because Derek was so fucking bitter. RuPaul is still fracking. She hasn't said anything about the protest, by the way. I'm like, do you not get Wi-Fi up in that and there's no Wi-Fi in the fracking rigs, I guess?
We know she ain't got no makeup on the ranch. That bitch.
Okay. What was the luchador mask about? My best take is like Ms. Rue has not had to do her makeup for a very long time, and at this point cannot do her makeup. Also, do yourself a favor. Go back to season 1 of Top Chef when a less financially rewarded Rue is showing up in makeup she did herself, and see how far that would go on Drag Race these days.
Like, God, Lady Bunny said it best. Lady Bunny said, "You pay for RuPaul, and Urkel shows up." And I do.
Oh no!
I have a confession, you guys. I'm RuPaul. So. But Jada won, which is good because a black person from the Midwest losing the final challenge, girl, they would have burnt everything down. We weren't playing no games.
She was like, I don't want another riot on my fucking hands. I love
from Milwaukee.
I'm like the mask, the like silence. She's like trolling us at this point. I was like, you really showed up to your own reunion like fucking Zorro. But also, like, she didn't even have to do, like, even if she did boy makeup, it would have been fine. I'm like, you've got 14 suits with all of those tacky prints. You've got a fucking Rolodex of them. Put one on and do your fucking job. It was wild.
Like All Stars, the loveliest thing about All Stars was Ricky getting to sweep in and just like when he barely tries, it's enough. Like I just love him so much.
I do. I also love that they made them lip sync to a song that, like, his most famous work happened when he was in the closet, and so they were like, "Here, you're gonna lip sync to this song about a woman." Cool.
I do have a question, you guys. Is Alexis Mateo Puerto Rican?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, why wouldn't partly? But also, why would you take that victory away from the one Puerto Rican queen that gets the lip sync to Ricky Martin? What are you doing?
It was a very bad decision. Also, I think they wanted to get the India like Derek drama, I guess, like in that elimination, but
like I didn't think it was a completely runaway victory, you know? Like, the judgment call.
Yeah. Are you watching? Do you watch Drag Race Glow? No. She's like,
no. It doesn't update on my Hulu, so I'm like, all right, I'll wait till like it's delayed and they post the seasons like
for the past few months, the question isn't do you watch Drag Race? The question is, do you want to watch Drumline, Clueless?
Exactly.
9 to 5. They like pick. It's like Summer of Pride, like weekend, like Friday night.
Which one in between movies that you're like, I didn't know this was on?
I'm just waiting for them.
Yeah, but they got
Becomes Her.
And they have a Waiting to Exhale. So get your entire life while you're quarantined and depressed. You know, like get your Angela Bassett. Get that whole script down. They can come out and burn it down.
She did. She was pre-Minneapolis. She knew it. This is violence. Burn it down. She's like, the cop comes and he's like, he's like, you can only burn trash. And she's like, it is trash. Legend.
Exactly. I would have paid to see somebody riot and loot and just to do that scene right there to one of the buildings.
Yeah.
You know what I think about? That'd be some good shit.
The clothes in the car. I'm like, take my clothes. Please burn them for this display. I need the TikTok.
Oh my goodness.
Drag Race was great. All right, well, that was our last topic. We made it right in time, 45. Thank you guys so much, everyone. Thank you guys for watching the Tea Party. If you're there in the comments, I don't know if nobody else has commented in a minute. Thank you guys so much for watching the Tea Party. Please give it up one more time for my guest, Jay Jurden.
Hello.
Give it up for Glow Butler and Guy Branum. Thank all of you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. It was the friendship simulator I needed for the week. I needed social interaction. I've been stuck at home. I'm still quarantining, actually.
Well, I'm trying to Guy, LA is technically things are starting again. Are you going to take a chance?
No. I mean, I'm going to be so quick. I want to not die. My goal is 2020, not dying.
Okay. All right.
It's a really high goal.
Yeah.
Maybe you should set a goal that is more achievable. I'm not to tell you you're reaching too high, but
Phillip, you're saying that as a 6'3" black man, so it's a little different.
Fair. That's survival that
Phillip, tell the story of you going to a protest and going home the minute it was 7:35.
Oh, my black ass was not about to be caught. Okay. I was walking, I could feel their eyes on me. It was their eyes are watching me. Okay. It was and I'm just tall, and it's a bunch of twinks running around here who are Black Lives Matter, just so they can post on their Insta stories or whatever.
The makeup was such that Phillip was just I have a name. Just say my life.
I walk through, and then like 7:35, everyone starts heading downtown, like from Union Square, still on the march. And something in my spirit said nope. And then like literally like 30 minutes later, people I saw were like beaten up and arrested. And I was like,
those are your ancestors. Those are your ancestors talking to you like, if you don't get the fuck out of there.
They were like, what the fuck is your black ass doing here? They were like,
Yeah.
take your ass home.
All Philip heard was Nicki Minaj saying, "To freedom."
I took the literal Underground Railroad and took my black ass home. I made it north to safety. Okay. Thank you guys so much. This has been a blast. Thank you guys for watching the Tea Party. Those of you who watched it, it'll be up for a few weeks until once quarantine is over, all this shit is coming down. So I do not get in trouble for the future.
Yeah, I just have one more thing to say. If you did anything racist in the past and you're white, just say what you did and apologize. You don't dance around it.
Yes, let's not miss that. Also, do something good. Okay, I don't need your apology. I want a reparation. Okay, I'm gonna start getting reparations in any little way, shapes, and forms that I can get them.
Okay, I have an idea. We have microaggressions. We need to talk about micro reparations, like
Ooh.
a cup of coffee, like
Yes, everywhere. Like I get to go in front of you anywhere in line. There should be like a line for black people to go first at the grocery store, the ATM, or really anywhere that we would like to go first. Okay.
Technically, that exists. You just have to have a black cashier be like, "I'm open, but don't tell nobody."
There's got to be a fee for like accepting apologies for other racist behavior. Like we got to put a tax on things white people are doing. like if you were gonna text me to ask me how I'm holding up, you must send $1.
Now, Philip, I just see you with one of those green see-through accountant visors, like tallying up for white people.
Listen. There's not enough numbers on the calculator for how much money we are owed. Okay, they have not even invented it. Jeff Bezos will never have the amount of money we are owed, and that is tea. Thank you guys so much. This has been the Tea Party. I had a great time. Perfect. Thank you so much. See you next week.